Hello, early birds. I am Delta Z, and I'm back again. This time we're going to look at Next Car Game by developer Bugbear. Kind of a strange name for a game, but I guess it's conveniently self-explanatory. If you enjoyed the Flat Out series of games, then this one might be right up your alley. For all intents and purposes, Next Car Game is essentially the spiritual successor to the Flat Out series. They share a lot of similarities. They feature racing, demolition derbies, and a separate playground or sandbox mode where you can just play around with the environment around you, the physics of your own car, and a lot of the destroyable objects scattered around the map. Right now there's only a few maps to race on, but I expect there's going to be more as the game progresses. The same is true of the demolition derbies. There's only a few arenas, but I'm sure more is going to come later on. The racing in Next Car Game feels exactly as you would expect. The cars you drive feel as heavy or as light as they appear to be. The AI has a few screws loose, however, pun intended. It has little regard for you, the condition of your vehicle, the condition of their own vehicle, the other NPCs around them, or anything in the environment for that matter. For players who don't mind a little bumper cars action, you're in for a visceral and eye-pleasing treat. The vehicle and object destruction is a lot of fun to behold, and the amazing technical achievements created by Bugbear, I hope they start to show up in other genres of games, not just racing. For the technical racers among us, I would suggest teaming up with a group of multiplayer gamers dedicated to the art of racing, rather than attempt to deal with the AI, which is hell-bent on crashing into you and anything else it possibly can. The mechanics for a good, tense race like the Forza series or the Gran Turismo series are there, and they're already well-tuned, but you're only going to get that tense race from a real, live, flesh-and-blood player. The AI is simply going to destroy itself and you. Interestingly enough, the AI in the Demolition Derby is somewhat more intelligent, even being smart enough to drive backwards in order to protect its engine in the front, or to achieve mobility if its front wheels have been otherwise destroyed. Like the rest of Next Car Game, the state of the artificial intelligence is already respectable, but could use a little bit more tuning before we can call it polished. The visual presentation of Next Car Game is probably one of its best features. The graphics are quite well done, though I would like a few more options than what the sliders and the launcher provide. As stated before, the destruction is quite believable. Metal wrinkles and dents as you would expect. The outer shell deforms quite easily, while the stronger inner chassis inside the car is denser and more resilient to damage, but it still bends and warps in a very believable way. The physics are just amazing. The environment includes things like guard walls made of tires that go flying as soon as you plunge into them, boxes that explode into fragments, and I even got forced through some concrete columns that were holding up a bridge. While most similar games would stop you immediately, I was totally surprised as I plowed through the concrete, and I even feared that I may have to dodge the remains of the bridge on my next lap. The lighting is superb, and the world detail, while not as amazing as some of the other parts of the game, gets the job done just fine. With all of the settings maxed out, and as much chaos as possible happening on the screen at once, I did not experience any slowdown. The audio holds up as well as the visuals. All of the sounds are appropriate, well recorded or designed, and sound great when your attention is on the race or the derby. The weak spot here is that the sounds are repeated too often. When you slam into a piece of debris, I noticed that the sound sounded the same every time. If I hit a tire on the road at a slow speed, back up, hit the tire again, as it hits my bumper, it still makes no difference in how loud or quiet the sound is, or even the timbre. I expect this is simply a result of the game's current state of development, and I have high hopes that the damage sounds, music, and environmental sounds will all match the high bar set by the graphics. As far as developer presence with the community and the future development of the game, Bugbear has a very clear vision for the game, great technology for their engine, and a passion for what they are creating. I have no doubt that Next Car Game will be an enjoyable, polished product when it comes time for the release. On the flip side, there are other early access games where the developers are much more interactive with the community. While Bugbear releases informational updates, they are few and far in between. And since the product is already quite good, there may not be much for them to have to say to the community. While I'd like to see a little more interaction, I guess I can't complain about what they've already done. That's it for our first look at Next Car Game. After an update big enough to warrant taking another look, we will be hard at work preparing another updated preview. Until then, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and comment, and we'll see you next time, early birds.